What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Pick Swap Media YouTube channel. My name is Sean Bernard as usual, and I'm excited to announce that for this video, we have partnered with WHOP.com, WHOP.com. WHOP is an all-in-one marketplace for sports communities and other digital products. If you're looking to find communities on all things sports, sports capping, sports betting, and sports fandom, head to WHOP.com/sports. They're the all-in-one digital marketplace, the Amazon of the future for digital products. I'm incredibly proud and excited to be partnering, so make sure to go check that out. You can click the link in our description and our comments. Thank you to WAP for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys for tuning in.
Hello again. Welcome back to the Fly and Style podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Mitchell, back with my co-host, Steven Maslij.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
And we are back again for another week of podcasting after the Eagles beat the Giants in the divisional round handily 34-7. So, Maslij, let's hear your thoughts. I mean, there's only so much to be said after this one.
It was a pretty good win, I would say. We just stomped them into the ground and then made them not want to live ever again. The narrative that I thought would come out did come out. That we should have done this, and the Giants were never supposed to be there in the first place, obviously, because we never get credit for anything. That game was perfect. But we ran the ball. We just ran the ball down their throats in the end. Started off great passing. Jalen Hurts didn't have the best stat lines, but I will take us rushing for over 200 yards any day of the week. It was fantastic. 268 yards on the game. We just ran it down the throats and dominated from the start.
Before you go anywhere, I want to make a comment about that stat line comment because I'm sick of hearing about his damn stat line, dude. He threw all of those yards in the first half. He threw all 3 touchdowns in the first half. We ran the ball for the entirety of the second half. I don't know why everybody wants to harp on him. He's a playoff quarterback. He only threw 150 yards. Shut up. Everyone needs to shut up. He literally had a masterclass performance. I don't know if everybody else is watching the same football game that I am, but he couldn't have done any better. Like
I just had to bring it up because I wanted to be sarcastic about it. Thank you for bringing it up. It's awesome.
Dude, it drives me nuts. The amount of comments I've seen this week saying like, "Oh, I can't imagine my quarterback only throwing 150 yards." Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, watch football a time or two. Like,
bro.
We won 34-7 in the playoffs against a team that was supposed to be the hottest team in the playoffs. And of course, we all knew the narrative was going to switch up as soon as the game was over. But like, come on, man! Like, it's getting excessive at this point. Like, they're active. Like, people are actively trying to find reasons to hate on the Eagles this year, and it's driving me absolutely insane. But like I said earlier, we're Philadelphia, and we don't care. All we want is a championship. It's all Jalen Hurts wants. It's all the rest of the team wants, and that is very, very clear. They're all business. So this game was phenomenal to me.
Should we get into why Sirianni is not a head coaching finalist, or do we just get a lead?
Man, there's not a joke, dude. Said about that. I mean,
it's a joke.
I'm
sorry, I love you, Dougie P, but what have you made it to the playoffs with the Jaguars, the easiest division in the league, other than the NFC South? Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't
don't
make
get
any
me wrong.
sense.
Like, I do believe Doug Peterson should be there because he did take maybe the worst. He did take the worst team in the league to the playoffs this year and won a game. Like, it is impressive. Granted, the Bengals basically did that last year. But
Zach Taylor never get credit for anything he does.
But
he's not in that name.
You know we love Dougie Peterson. I'm happy for Dougie P, but I'm very pissed off that Sirianni isn't in the head coaching, the coach of the year debate because, I mean, I didn't even think it was a question. I thought it was an easy win for Sirianni, and I think most Philadelphia fans did too, considering we had the best record all year. Only lost 2 games with a backup quarterback. Like, I mean, It is what it is. We've already gotten into it. The hate in Philadelphia is never going to end. At no point this season have we gotten any kind of, glory or fame or, time on ESPN or, get Uncle Shannon and Skip talking about us. And, I don't hear none of that. Nobody wants to talk about the Eagles. And I don't care because they're going to talk plenty about them once they win the Super Bowl and they win this week. I'm knocking on wood just for the record, but my point has been made.
Should we hop in right into this game since we just stopped the Giants and all you Giants fans that were talking crap before? I don't know why I don't respond to my text, by the way. I know you guys aren't going to watch this podcast because I just kept texting them the staple button like that was easy, and just kept resending it.
I was sitting next to a friend of mine who's a Giants fan during the game, and oh my gosh, it was so relieving. It was so funny.
I kept getting
the entire game after the very first drive. He said, "We're a second half team. Don't worry about
it." Dude, that's what Craig and Aiden said. They were like, "There's a lot of football left," and I kept saying, "Oh, there's a lot of football left. There's a lot of football left." Poor guys.
Yeah, that was brutal. That's the kind of game that makes you like question if Daniel Jones is going to come back as their starting quarterback next year.
Hey, I hope he does. I'm hoping we didn't do too much to scare him away because he's probably better than Jalen, right? According to maybe the national media.
To a lot of people.
Did you see his stat line in the Vikings game that doesn't really have a defense? 300 yards and 78 yards rushing. He's better. Just saying.
Hey, it's not like Jalen Hurts had 112 passer rating in his game so far. So it's it's whatever. It's whatever. It's what freaking ever, Steve. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of it.
Did you hear how good the San Francisco 49ers defense is yet? Have you heard that how good they are and how amazing they are at defense?
But hold on, right before we get into it, I do want to mention one more thing about the Giants game. I do want to say that I was happy to see that we were running the ball a lot more this game. We ran the bounce game plan that we were asking for early on. And that's the kind of Eagles that we want to see when they're playing. Like when they run that balance game plan, play at their pace, they look like the best team in football, and they did. Everyone wants to talk about how, it's the Giants. No, the Giants were a playoff team for a freaking reason. They were a top 8 team in the NFL this year, and we absolutely destroyed them. And it just goes to show what this team is capable of. And, I just want to put that out there that, this team played incredible on all ends of the field. On defense, the secondary, the amount of times that Daniel Jones had to get rid of the ball because of coverage sacks or, the coverage was just too tight. We had 5 sacks on the game. Saquon Barkley, I think he had like 60 yards maybe. I forget exactly what he had, but it was all on one run pretty much.
Yeah.
We shut him down. We did our thing. And I just want to say that, as much as we've been making the point already, I don't know why the rest of the league isn't terrified right now, because I know I would be terrified walking into the link trying to play this team at this hour. It's just we're at the top of our game.
Dude, we had the best roster I've seen on the Eagles in my lifetime, because you just can't get better than this roster. I mean,
we have one of the best rosters we've seen in NFL football in a while.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Granted, the Rams were a really good roster. The Bucs were a really good roster. Obviously, there have been some great rosters in there that I'm not mentioning, but this team is one of the most well-rounded teams I've ever watched play football.
It's amazing.
We've got it on all ends, and not even to mention that we even have the freaking kicker for it. Our kicker is even phenomenal. We've got nothing to worry about in our whole team. We have very minimal worries. The only worry we have is injuries, basically. But now we can jump into San Francisco, who is going to be a much, much tougher opponent than the Giants were. And I want to hear some of your reasons for why you would agree with me or disagree with me.
So everyone's talking about how great their defense is, right? And they don't have a great defense. It's just when I look at they have a great D line and they have a great linebacking core. But they have given up lots of air yards, especially explosive teams with people that can throw the ball down the field. You look at Vegas, for example. It was a 34-37 shootout. If you look at how many people, they only played one team on the road over 500, by the way, and it's the Seattle Seahawks. Like, that's it all season long. So they haven't had a tough opponent on the road. They haven't had like someone to challenge them on the road. I know they have been great at home, and Brock Purdy's been literally just not throwing interceptions. He's not. I don't get the hype. I don't get, like, they're not the 85 Bears. I don't know why they're like the best defense, but we're concerned nothing when we have 69 sacks. We have 20 more sacks than they do, and like a way better secondary. Like, I just don't understand why they're like so superior to us when they just. I don't know. I just get kind of angry about it. I mean, yes, they've given up the least amount of points in the league per game, but.
That's the big thing, though. You got to pull that out. You know, it doesn't matter how many yards you let up, doesn't matter how many interceptions you get or sacks you get. All that matters is points or no points. And they give up the least amount of it. They do a good job of it. You can't discredit their defense. They've got a great D-line, and the biggest scare from my perspective going into this game is their linebacking core. Their linebackers are practically corners in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
They can move. Obviously, you know how good Fred Warner is. You know how good Dre Greenlaw is. Those guys are phenomenal, and they can move all over the field. They can run back and forth, sideline to sideline, and it makes it hard to get the ball over the middle of the field. So I don't think we're going to be seeing as many A.J. Brown slant routes. I don't think we're going to see a lot of middle of the field play in terms of the passing game. We're going to try to keep it outside, keep the run game going, keep them on their toes, try to get them deep. Keep the linebackers spread out as much as possible because they can take away a whole chunk of the field by themselves.
Yeah, and I also think that they're gonna hone in. I mean, obviously, we're not even mentioning Nick Bosa, and they're like might be, and I hate to admit it, but like the best player in football. Like, just he's like virtually unblockable with 18.5 sacks this year, and he missed 2 games. But that's including on the playoffs. But I think they're going to be honing in on Hurts. I think Hurts is going to be forced to be in the pocket, which I'm fine with. Like, I think that's perfectly fine. I personally think they're going to take away our run game and try to take away Hurts from using his legs. I actually think A.J. Brown's going to have a great game. I think we're going to get a lot. We're going to have to throw the ball deep, and I think we're able to do it.
Everybody sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
How, you take away Jalen Hurts' run game, like, what's he going to do? We've seen what he can do. Like, he can sit in the pocket and throw the ball.
Yeah.
We've seen multiple games where we rush the ball all game, like last game, and he has like 150 yards. Sure. Then the next game he comes out and he throws for 350 and he puts on another masterclass performance through the air. And, people just forget that there's no way you can just you can't just focus on one aspect of the Eagles offense because they can beat you in so many different ways. Like, they can beat you at the run game. They can beat you at the passing game. They can beat you in the short game, the long game. Like, they have it all. Like, it's hard to focus in on one person. You can't key in on Jalen Hurts because then you take a linebacker away from the middle of the field with, Brown, Smith, and Goddard out there. You key on A.J. Brown, then you're leaving Smith open on the other side of the field. You want to, play deep safeties, then you're leaving a streak route open for Dallas Goedert right up the middle. It's really hard to key in on anything on our defense. You kind of just have to try to contain everybody because there's too much going on. There's too much going on, man. Like, you can get hurt from any point of the field.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I'm just saying what I heard analysts say because I can't really speak to how bad we're going to be, but everyone's speculating about, is Hurts' shoulder, like, I'm just saying because, like, I hate, like,
Hurts' shoulder. Did you see his first pass last week?
This is ESPN, buddy. Did
you see his first pass last week?
A dime, Monta Smith.
Holy crap! Like, I don't get it.
It's okay. I mean,
they're talking more about Jalen Hurts' shoulder that he's proven isn't bothering him than they're talking about Patrick Mahomes' high ankle sprain that I actually have no idea how he's playing through. Kudos to him for that because that's really impressive. But, like, they're acting like, oh, it's Mahomes. He's still the best. Like,
well, he's clearly the best quarterback ever, and like
yeah,
Brock Purdy is the second best quarterback ever because he's next coming of God because he's picked last. Did you know he's picked last in the draft? Did you know that?
I didn't hear that.
Oh,
That's
you didn't
news.
hear
That's
that yet.
news to me.
Oh, he's amazing, by the way. He's like actually the best quarterback ever to exist, even though Dallas dropped 2 picks off him last week.
Well, just to talk about Purdy a little bit, obviously Purdy averaged, a little over 150 yards per game on the season. He's definitely been a great game manager. He's a quick thinker. He gets the ball out quick. He runs like a quick style of the West Coast offense, and he's very good at managing that. Better so than Jimmy Garoppolo was, who was also a game manager, to be honest. I do think that Brock Purdy, I don't think that he has the experience or the skills that that Garoppolo quite had. He just had a little more experience in him. But, Brock Purdy's a very good game manager, but I don't think that he's going to be able to manage the game against this kind of pressure from the Eagles, let alone the atmosphere that he's going to be playing in Philadelphia. He's going to be going against the best defense he's played all year in the most hostile territory he's been in all year. Everybody at his neck, at his throat, I really think that this pressure is going to, get to him, and he's going to have a really hard time dealing with what we're throwing at him. Sorry about that, guys. We ran into some technical difficulties again, some connection errors, not a whole lot we can do about it, so apologies about that. But we're going to jump right back into the 49ers offense, and I talked a little bit about Brock Purdy and why I think that he's going to have trouble dealing with our D-line and the atmosphere and the pressure that he's going to be dealing with on all assets. He hasn't dealt with, he just hasn't dealt with a Titan like the Eagles on all aspects. The coverage is going to be tighter. The pressure is going to be closer. And like I said, that atmosphere is going to have his head ringing. So I think that he's going to have a lot of trouble as a first-year quarterback. However, I do want to mention that he has impressed me all year with his calm and collectedness. So there's a chance he might be able to deal with it well, but in my mind, I think that's a big aspect that he's going to struggle with.
No, and it's going to be a complete, like you said, completely different animal. That it's going to be rocking down there at the link. One aspect of their offense that I think their biggest aspect is CMC, Christian McCaffrey. I think he's just a beast. We have to shut him down. I mean, I need Brock Purdy to beat us if we're gonna have a game like that. He's obviously Christian McCaffrey is probably one of the best guys that are receiving backs in the league, along with rushing. He's explosive and he makes plays happen. And same with Debo, and Kittle. They have a good offense. But I'm really scared of McCaffrey. If we can't contain McCaffrey, it's gonna be a hard game for us, and it's gonna be an offensive battle, uphill. But if we shut McCaffrey down, I see no reason for us to not dominate on defensively. We did a good job with Saquon, but it's asking a lot for us to shut down someone like McCaffrey. But if you can hold him to, the Cowboys honestly did a pretty decent job. I think that we can play perfectly fine on defense. I think that we definitely need Brock Purdy to turn the ball over, but I want to put it all on his shoulders. Make him beat us. Make Brock Purdy beat us.
Agreed. I don't think that with a guy like McCaffrey, you're not going to prevent him from producing yards or anything like that. He's going to get yards. He's going to pick up some, some whatever here and there. But honestly, as long as you can keep him out of the end zone, that's a huge thing. And that's an obvious statement, but if you can keep him out of the end zone, keep him generally contained, especially on the ground, I think we'll have a harder time taking care of him in the passing game than in the rushing game. I think we're going to shut him down in the run game, but I think he's going to pick up some big chunk receiving yards on us sometimes. But the person I think that we need to key on the most is different from you, and I think the person that we need to key on is George Kittle. George Kittle hasn't had an insane year. He's had a good year, of course. First half of the season was a little rough. Back end, he kind of picked it up, and the reason he picked it up is because rookie quarterbacks statistically love their tight ends.
Yeah.
They just do. And Brock Purdy has absolutely loved George Kittle since he's been in the game. And when George Kittle's producing, not only does he bring like an extra energy to the field, an extra competitiveness, but like the team just feeds off of it, and he is just like he can hurt you in so many different ways in the run game, in the pass game. You know, he's a great route runner. He's really good at catching, and he's aggressive. He's super aggressive. And the Eagles really just need to be surefire at tackling this week. They can't be, they can't be arm tackling. They can't be letting people break out of tackles because guys like Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle are pretty good at that. And I shouldn't be leaving out Deebo Samuel out of that either. Deebo Samuel usually just kind of, outruns people. But, it's going to be a tough game if we can't be a surefire tackling team this week.
Well, did you see the reports about McCaffrey's calf at all?
I did not.
So he didn't practice Wednesday. Neither did Elijah Mitchell or Deebo. But even right after the game, because Elijah Mitchell did get 14 carries, McCaffrey only got 10 last game. People are saying he's like he has a limited calf condition. He's going to play because he always has little something wrong with him. But
of course.
I don't know how much you read into that, how much you take like from not practicing Wednesday. I know I didn't see the report from today, but
well, to be honest, the biggest thing you just told me there is that he had less carries than Elijah Mitchell. So to be honest, I do kind of read into that.
Yeah.
But, I don't think it's going to change, a whole lot in terms of the way they're going to use him. But he might get less touches than he would in a game where he's completely healthy. And that can come in handy. But either way, you still got a guy like Elijah Mitchell, and he's no joke either. They've got a good O-line. They run the ball very well. You can really put any running back there, and they'll still be scary. So we got to be careful about their run game for sure, regardless of injuries.
All right. So how do you see this game going? What's going to happen? Or do we even talk about what we're going to do defense? Yeah, we did. What do you want to see from us defensively, though?
Honestly, I'm not really 100% sure. I'm just going to leave this one up to Gannon. I don't really have an idea of what exactly I want to see out of the defense this week, but in terms of what I saw last week, I feel like you can just run the same thing and make it work. You shut down a guy like Saquon. You were playing great coverage on the back end. I don't see why you can't run that same game plan against this team, and it might not come out as successful because this team is just better in general. But in terms of what we want to do as a game plan and, keep their running game to a minimal effort, I think that we should run the same scheme we had last week.
All righty. So how do you see this game going? What do you see the score being and first half and full game predictions?
Well, it's a little bit tough. I've been struggling all week to decide exactly how I feel about this game and what I'm expecting from it. But there's a part of me that thinks it's going to be a 14-point game for the Eagles. There's a part of me that, like I said, I've been struggling. There's a part of me that really wants to say it's going to be close because the San Francisco 49ers team is no joke. They are a very good team, and I hope I'm not taking them too lightly. But off of what I saw last week against the Cowboys especially, they did not put up a lot of yards. They didn't put up a lot of points. They struggled against a defense that, quite honestly, just isn't as good as ours is. And I just think that our offense has enough in them to put out the points that they need to win this game. So my score prediction is going to be maybe not a 14-point game. I'm thinking maybe more like a 27-17 for the Eagles.
Wow. That's pretty bold, but I'm on the same wavelength as you, honestly. I'm going with a similar type game because everyone's talking about how good their defense is and how much they're going to overpower us. I just think that our defense is better, and I think we're going to get good field position I said that really oddly. Good field position. Good field position out of Brock Purdy having turnovers. I think we get 2 turnovers this game. I really like our chances. I feel like we we're that team. I think CJ gets a pick and Marcus Epps get a pick, by the way. I think we're going to win 30.
Safeties, huh?
Yeah. I just like them getting picks because they're going to get picks.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
All right. I know it's not a hot take, but, Sam Reddick will get 3 sacks and Nick Bosa will have 2, but it's okay. I already see the game happening in my head. Brock Purdy's going to suck. He's going to throw not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions. We're going to win 31-17, and then you can book it to the Super Bowl. Should not be this confident in this game because I'm very scared.
Hey, I mean, we both have a similar idea of it, and like we both mentioned, this is a game where we probably shouldn't be as confident as we are, but it's hard not to be after watching the game last week, and in general, just this Eagles team all season. Everybody that's hating on the Eagles has not been watching their games every week, attentively taking care and watching this game of football. I've been watching football for, 16 years, and this is one of the best football teams I've ever seen. No ifs, ands, or buts. And it's just they are a damn good team. And I've said it before the playoffs started, and I'm sticking to it now. To me, the only team that can beat the Eagles are themselves. Yeah. Bottom line, if they play disciplined, hard-nosed football like they always do, if they, take care of the football, don't turn it over, they're nobody can beat them.
I think we had the best O-line, D-line, wide receiver core, if you include Dallas Goedert. Freaking secondary. I don't understand what's wrong with our team. You can say our linebackers a little weak, but TJ Edwards had a great year this year.
TJ Edwards had a great year this year.
Great year. Our special teams has been better. It's been great. I don't know what you want from us. I literally cannot see us not playing well.
I can't imagine us playing better.
We have MVP quarterback. Dude, Jalen Hurts will lead us to victory, and I don't care. He has that mentality. He has been so great. He has been, all the media trying to press him, getting answers from him. He literally hasn't, flinched. He's not nervous.
He's all business, man. I absolutely love it.
And to say for the fact that this is going to be, his third playoff game, and it's going to be on a big stage, dude, he played at Bama in the biggest stage possible. He played in Oklahoma.
Yeah, no, dude. I don't want to hear anything about his stages, dude. He has been at the biggest stage. He knows how to handle the stages.
But no, don't talk about Brock Purdy, right? Because he has 2 playoff wins, right? He has 2 playoff wins, so he's fine. He doesn't need to get nervous. I don't know what the narrative everyone's trying to write is. I don't know if they just want people
Well, the narrative everybody's trying to write is that Brock Purdy is reminiscent of an old Tom Brady, at least in terms of his story. But the fact that it's come on, it is a good story. It's Mr. Irrelevant walking in and going 11-0 with a team. It's pretty cool. But it's gonna the Cinderella story ends here. Bottom line, it just is. It's gonna.
I think it's stupid.
It's a Philly thing, man.
I hate that. I actually don't. I know it's supposed to be our slogan for the playoffs, but I actually despise that. I don't know why. I think that hype video was literally like a commercial. I didn't like it. I want them to do way better. Because I had to go rewatch the Dawkins one in order to get hype for last game because it was it's a Philly thing. It's a Philly thing. Go to the barbershop. It's a Philly thing. I was like, geez, please, stop.
Oh man. Well, anyway. Lastly, for this episode, let's get into the. We'll talk about the other game real quick. So. Finally, we're coming up to the end of the season. Unfortunately, Maslij is no longer capable of making that glorious comeback. I currently have a 32-37-3 record to Maslij's 25-44-3.
That's just crazy.
So I'm now 7 games ahead of Maslij, and he is out of time. However, I have given him the opportunity to not shave his head if the Eagles are to win the Super Bowl. Wow. So I don't know if that makes you root for them more or less, but
makes me root for them more because I was telling Matt before the podcast I wanted to get a haircut, but I just can't get a haircut and pay $30 if I got to shave it Monday.
Yes, you're gonna have to hold off on that until the Super Bowl's done, and we'll figure out what we're doing. If the Eagles happen to, it's not going to happen, but if the Eagles happen to lose, we will do the shaving on air at some point, even if it's just a short film. We'll make sure you guys get a hold of that material there. But that all being said, it's all fun and games, but we're going to do the last few picks of the year. So let's talk about the AFC Championship. Who do you got in that one?
So I've been back and forth the entire time. The only reason I'm going with the Chiefs isn't because like I don't think Patty's not hurt. I just trust Andy Reid more at home. I think he's going to find a way to use Patty more of a pocket quarterback presence, which he really is. He doesn't need to use his leg. That's just an extra like added ability of why he does his magical plays. I think he'll be okay. He's been walking around 5, jogging there in practice. I just think that Andy Reid and Arrowhead are just going to be able to take over this game, and I think that the Bengals not having 3 offensive starters on their line being out, I think the Chiefs can take this game, and I think everyone thinks they saw the Bengals win last week against the Bills, and they played a great game. Don't get me wrong; they demolished the Bills, and it wasn't a close game at all. But as much as I love Joe Burrow, I don't think the Bengals defense is that strong, and I think that the Chiefs coming away with a close one in this one.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you on this one. I'm also taking the Chiefs. They're -1 right now. I mean, Mahomes is obviously Mahomes. He will do Mahomes things. He is the best quarterback in the league. I really don't care if he is hurt. He's going to do enough to get you to that point. And I just think that, like you said, they've got the Bengals have some offensive linemen out. I think they're going to do a good job of getting pressure on Joe Burrow and making him uncomfortable. I do think it's a toss-up. I think the Bengals are also a very good team. I'm really pretty unsure, but I'm going to stick to my gut because I said it was going to be Eagles-Chiefs before the playoffs started, and I'm going to stick to that. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game. It really just comes down to how well Patty's going to play on his ankle, and that's to be seen. Nobody knows. So, disregarding that point, I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like anyone else I asked say the Bengals, so I was surprised you're on the same side as me, honestly. But
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely very, very in between because the Bengals looked great last week, and especially their pace. They played at a really quick pace, and they kind of slowed down later. But getting that momentum quickly is definitely a heartbreaker for teams, just like it was for the Eagles against the Giants. Yeah. You put up those 21 points before they score any points, and it's like, crap, what do we do? They're trying to play catch up the whole game. It makes it hard to, settle and play your game.
Yeah, completely agree.
All right, Matt. Yeah, man, it has been another good episode. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully we can come back to you guys again next week, getting ready for the Super Bowl. Either way, we'll be back again with an episode next week, regardless. But it's about that time, guys. We're looking for a chip right now.
Let's freaking go Birds, baby. The freaking Birds. We're going to win this game, and we're going to demolish them and crush them. I can't wait. And if we don't, I'm going to come on here crying and with a head shave. Do you guys really want that to happen? No. No, the answer is no.
As funny as that sounds, nobody wants that to happen this week. So, hell yeah, man. We are going to hopefully be back to you guys happy, healthy, and ready to go for the Super Bowl next week. So, thank you guys again for tuning in. It's been another great episode. This is Matt Mitchell and Steven Maslij. And what are you talking about, huh? Keep your voice down.
I'm just scared. Just thinking about the game.
Hey, man, we ain't scared about nothing. It's a Philly thing.
Cut it off
all right
there, Sean.
it paused right at the perfect time. But all right, guys.
Bang.
Last time. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go Birds, and we'll see you guys next week.